Trafficking. Walk for Freedom is a global fundraising and awareness event rallying tens of thousands of abolitionists in hundreds of cities all over the world. The walk was aimed at raising awareness and to fight for victims in our cities and around the globe still trapped in slavery. One of the organizers, Renee Luce, joins us now to tell how the event went today. Renee, thank you so much for your time, and I can see you did indeed walk today.
I did.
All right, so South Africa is really in a state of shock currently with all the child abductions, the human trafficking stories that we're seeing. I mean, we've been gripped by the court case in the Eastern Cape,
yes,
where a pastor is facing over 60 charges for human trafficking,
right,
amongst them. Now, how important is the work that your organization is doing? And most importantly, are you making an impact?
Great question, the last one. Are we making an impact? Hopefully we'll be able to tell that not just in this generation, but in generations to come. I believe that every action starts with awareness. We cannot action anything if we're not aware. And so this morning's walk in particular, we have this walk across the globe once a year, and it's been our second one in Braamfontein. There's another one in Randburg, which has been going on here in Johannesburg. We had 11 across the country today in South Africa. It has to start with people being aware. It has to start with people asking the question or looking in a different eye at people or young children or kids that seem out of place. Only then can we action if we're aware as a society. Action in itself with this particular issue is quite difficult. The United Nations, this report is quite clear that only 1% of traffickers worldwide are actually prosecuted. So action still needs to catch up. But I thoroughly believe, as a citizen of Jozi, as a mom in this city, that we can action something only if we're aware of it. And so this morning's walk is really to make people aware this is an issue. This is happening around us. Let's open our eyes. Let's, as communities, talk to each other and look out for this.
Now, you and I were talking a little earlier, and we were saying that human trafficking in South Africa doesn't take the form that we see internationally, where children are literally, shipped out of the country. It happens in a number of ways. A child can be abducted today in one part of South Africa,
correct,
and then trafficked in another part of, yes, South Africa, and there they are subjected to all sorts of, yes, atrocities.
Yes.
Now, in terms of your awareness,
yes,
where are you reaching? Where are you speaking to? And who actually needs to be taking this action?
Right, great question. We have to be taking this action on every single sphere of society. It has to be in the homes, it has to be in the schools, it has to be at universities. We walked this morning across the Nelson Mandela Bridge in Braamfontein, but also had a lot of WITS students in our walk, WITS and UJ students. So the action has to come from all sides of society. Even businesses that runs trucks or has people driving across the country has to be aware that this is an issue. South Africa's form of human trafficking, I agree with you, looks different sometimes, but I think in its most pure form, human trafficking is the exploitation of another human. It's taking someone else's freedom and exploiting it. Today, there's 20 to 30 million people in the world under slavery. It's more than ever was when slavery was legal. And those numbers, to me at least, seem so overwhelming sometimes and so intimidating. I don't know where to start. But what we decided to do was to have a local walk with a global impact, meaning locally, if we raise awareness, we can action here. We can go into schools. We had kids in the walk this morning. They were teachers. We've been working with JMPD now, who's aware of the walk. They were incredibly responsive. They're like, hey, can you help us out? We've got these outreach programs. So we have teams throughout the year who goes into schools and universities, helps with training of SAPs and the specialized units that do the prosecution thereof. So I think it has to be on all tiers and all dimensions, because the fact of the matter is that human trafficking is part of organized crime. It's the same people sitting behind organized crime units, and so we have to be wise in tackling them, because they are actually wise in how they exploit people. They don't just do it in one way.
Very quickly before I let you go, what, yes, are the practical examples you can give anyone whose child has been abducted and they suspect obviously human trafficking involvement, or even young children who are being solicited for jobs, yes, overseas as an example?
Yes.
What steps can we take?
Firstly, if it's too good to be true, it probably is is not correct, right? So that's the first thing I say to our kids, especially our matriculants, our first-year, second-year students. We see so many social media platforms being used to solicit people for work. We don't just see it in low income or people that are really desperate. We see it across the board. So that's the first thing. And secondly, for parents to be aware, everyone to be aware, and also the community. As a community, I remember that they interviewed the neighbor of this house where this choir was staying with this pastor that we were talking about at the beginning. And he said he checked out the choir and everything looked good. But something made him check out the choir. Do you see what I mean? So we as a community, if we as a community can say you're not going to take our kids, you're not going to take our people, I think we are going so far beyond what is just making aware. We are actually taking action. There's national hotlines, 0800 22 222 777, 0800 222 777 is our 821's hotline. Anyone can phone in a tip. We get so many tips from nurses, community workers, people saying something doesn't sit right with me. And then we help them. We show them which right government departments we can action. We can use social development or the Department of Health or the police SAPs we work very closely with. So there's lots to be done.
This is definitely an important issue, one that we
Yes.
can't leave with just one interview.
No.
I think we should definitely be having an engagement. Thank you so much,
great.
Renee, for your time.